Hi, I'm Dave Scott, and I'd like to talk about the off-season, what you can do in the off-season, and what you can do to collect your thoughts from the season that you just finished. And what do I mean by that, collecting your thoughts? I think when we are reflective on our races and our training year, there's a couple key critical things that you need to look at. And I always ask my athletes this one question, and it also applies to training. If you've had a race, done very poorly in that race, and I think when you look at your tablet of races during the year, you may say, gee, I had 2 great ones, 2 okay ones, and 2 poor ones. When we look at the poor ones, I always ask my athletes, what did they do well? And I think it's important to ask yourself that about your whole training that you did for the last 12 months. What did you do well? And be very critical when you look at that. In other words, as you go through the cycles of your training, be honest with yourself. Did you put in the train intensity? Did you put in the necessary volume? Did you incorporate strength training? Were you watching your nutrition? Was your weight where it should be? And probably most importantly, I think you need to ask yourself, what do you want out of your training and ultimately your performance? I find that there's a lot of gray area with athletes, and if we're just doing it for our health, which really should be the number one reason, we want to be healthy, then that needs to be paramount in your order of activity, events, and your thought process. If I want to be healthy, then you may need to restructure your program, temper it down just a little bit. That allows you the psychological latitude to enjoy the success. We quite often don't see those little successes along the way, and we get to the end of the season and say, you know what, I had a terrible year. I just did very, very poorly. So you have to reflect back, pick out the tangible areas that you can identify that you really made an improvement on, and think about the areas that you can also access as far as your training plan. That means right now that you can redesign and incorporate those into your new calendar. It's kind of a difficult thing to do, but I like my athletes to actually write this down. And if you write it down, you see 2 lists on what you want, and not what I could have done or what I should have done, but what I want. All of a sudden, as you go into the 2013 season, you're going to be able to say, you know what, this is what I want. I want to be able to train X number of days per week. I want to be able to train X number of hours per day. I want to focus on these 2 races or these 3 races. I'd like to be at this level as far as my age group. If you're at the higher level, at national level, it may be placed in the top 10 at age group nationals. Something that's real tangible that bites you, that says, okay, I can go after this and I'm going to do it. All of a sudden you have this long-term objective with these intermediate goals in there, and you can kind of pick each month and say, you know, did I attain those goals? Did I cross that line for success? And it becomes much easier to also reflect on what you've done well. I hope that helps. It's a little bit all over the board, but be careful when you are critical about your performance, when you really never recognize the successes. Those little successes that you have during the year are really a key to feeling successful. Good luck.